We know more and more states are legalizing marijuana, either for recreational or medical use. Take a look at this map. All the states in dark green are where recreational use is legal.
And the light green is where medical marijuana is allowed. The big question, could Texas follow suit? So we want to know what you think. Grab your phones and go to khou.com/vote now or the KHOU 11 app to weigh in. And while you're voting, let's take a closer look. Nearly 30 pot-related bills have been filed by state lawmakers this session.
30, that is quite a bit. Adam Bennett breaks down the odds of these bills, any of them actually passing.
It's a recently budding industry.
And you guys said a gram, right?
That's been a jackpot for several states and helps patients in many others. But hopes of getting the green light on marijuana reform from state lawmakers in Austin
tough, very difficult,
have burned out session after session.
Other states have already done it. We're not like on the front end, but it's time for us to catch up.
State Rep Ron Reynolds filed 2 bills. One would let voters decide on medical marijuana. The other would expand the state's existing limited medical cannabis program to include, quote, debilitating medical conditions like cancer, autism, chronic pain, and PTSD.
I want to help Texans that are suffering with these kind of illnesses to get some relief.
Another top priority for advocates, making low-level possession a civil penalty instead of criminal.
You would be obligated to pay this fine, but you don't get a criminal record. Essentially, you don't have a drug conviction.
Hunter White is with Republicans against marijuana prohibition. He says more people in his party back reform.
This year is different because there is just more general support.
But even with shifting public and party opinions and new House leadership, White thinks reluctant conservatives in the Senate could still stop reform.
You know, Dan Patrick is the traffic cop in the Senate, and if he doesn't like the legislation, it won't go anywhere.
UH political science professor Brandon Rottinghouse thinks bipartisan support is possible, but cautions if any bill goes too far, too fast, marijuana reform will be a much tougher sell.
There needs to be a real advocate, somebody who's powerful enough to push this through and, when necessary, kind of pull it across the finish line.
And Rottinghouse says, in a session dominated by big issues like school safety, teacher pay, education funding, and property tax reform,
the biggest obstacle is just attention.
Cutting through the clutter at the Capitol could be the biggest hurdle as the clock keeps ticking in this 140-day session.
All right, so if the legislature does pass a bill, will the governor actually sign it? Here's what his spokesperson told us. Quote, he's open to legislation reducing the punishment for less than 2 ounces of marijuana from a Class B to a Class C misdemeanor. I think that gives you all the answer you need. Let's take a look at the results of our survey. Should marijuana be legalized in Texas? Most of you, and every time we do this poll, it's the same result. Most of you say yes, it should be. And tonight on KHOU 11 News at 10, we take a closer look at marijuana, what it can do to the teenage brain.